This is not the time to be panicking. You should be getting ready for the next leg up. I don't think this bull run is over at all. This entire market just increased in value over 65% in the last 90 days. I would be taking some profits too. As a matter of fact, you should have moved your profits into stable coins, and that way they can sit on the side as we get ready for this next leg up. Because it's coming, ladies and gentlemen. Now, if you're holding some of the assets we're going to cover in this episode, HBAR, FLR, XRP, let me welcome you. My name is Wade. You're listening to another edition of the DHN Crypto Podcast. I've been in this space since 2019, and I've researched over 1,000 digital assets. The number one reason I sit here is to share all that knowledge with you. All I ask in return, you hit that like button. But not for me, let's do it for crypto. So, number one topic today, Hedera. News from this morning, ladies and gentlemen. Charles Atkins has now been appointed the CEO of the Hedera Foundation. There are a couple more details to this, guys. Going into 2025, Hedera is going to have a whole new look. And another story we're going to cover in this episode, it involves FLR and XRP. F assets are now live on Songbird, and the one that we have been waiting for all this time, FXRP, is running. So this means a whole lot for the future of the XRP ecosystem, and I can't wait to share it with you. But we're going to start with Hedera, because with this new appointment, there's also a new direction for Hedera, and I think you'll be interested in finding out what that is. So, as they describe it, a new chapter for Hedera. Let's start here with the welcoming of Charles Atkins. He will be transitioning from his current position as president of the Hedera Hashgraph LLC, which is essentially the Hedera that we're all familiar with, the one based in Texas, right? But I was surprised to find out he also worked at Polygon Labs and Aptos. Now, that's very important because over this year, I discovered one of the biggest issues within the Hedera ecosystem that lended to a lot of holders complaining about the lack of marketing and the lack of direction that was coming from players like the HBAR Foundation and others related to Hedera. With Atkins, I feel like we shouldn't have that problem based on his experience with, let's admit it, more popular networks, more bigger networks like Polygon or Aptos. So that has me optimistic. Something else that has me very excited is the highlighted portion here. His leadership will be instrumental in steering Hedera Foundation towards achieving significant milestones within the Hedera ecosystem with a specific focus on AI, tokenization, and digital identity. There was another piece of news that came out this week in relation to Hedera, guys, and you see the highlights already. I was on it. Equity Labs, Verifiable compute bring trust to AI with Hedera. This involves a collaboration between Equity, Intel, and NVIDIA, folks. Now, we can leverage the adoption model for this one. We have the third-party tech provider in the form of Equity Labs. They went to, or let's say Intel and NVIDIA came to them. They wanted to explore artificial intelligence and DLT technology. Equity said, hey, we got a toolkit. It's Hedera. This is what we believe you can use this for. 2.5 years later, as they describe in his blog post, here we are. Now, I remember a few weeks back, I was kind of, giving Equity Lab a bit of flack because you guys joined the Hedera ecosystem 2-3 years ago, and we hadn't heard anything from you, with the exception of the Climate GTP application, which they also describe in here, and now I understand what that's for. It was a prerequisite to what this is. So let's find out what this is. It's verifiable compute. And what that means is that it will leverage the Hedera consensus service to create an immutable ledger of AI computations, harnessing the transparency and trust of Web3 to set a new standard for enterprise AI governance. by anchoring AI trust directly in silicon and extending it to the Hedera network. This solution provides a tangible use case that demonstrates the power of Web3 in enhancing AI security, transparency, and compliance. So, to summarize, what they're going to be doing with the Hedera network is using it as a record of account. With generative AI and AI models in general, having a backlog of data for which the AI model can be trained from is the holy grail of AI. And specifically when it comes to this verified compute, since we're talking AI, let's consult the AI, all right? Verified compute is crucial for AI as it allows the auditing and verification of AI models, ensuring their transparency, accountability, and trustworthiness. Something that stood out to me is this portion here, model explainability. By providing insights into how AI models arrive at their conclusions, verified compute enhances model explainability, which is vital for debugging and understanding potential biases. Hedera's DLT is being used in the most important aspect of artificial intelligence, the source code. That's the way that I'm interpreting it. So again, I know market conditions ain't the best. It's not what we want to see, but you have to understand, and this is something that I am slowly coming to understand the more years, the more time I put into this market, it's cyclical. Proper word, right? Goes up and down. Your job is to navigate those waters when they recede and when they're coming at you. Right now, everything is receding. You'll be able to see a little land, maybe find a few treasures in the sand. But just know that wave coming back in, and it's your job to get prepared for it. Now, let's jump over, talk a little FLR network. I like this story. I waited a couple days to let this unfold. They originally announced this, I want to say, a little bit earlier than the 18th. The short of it is this, though. F assets are now going to be making their way to the main net. Once they get to Songbird, it's only a matter of time before they become main net assets, right? This is the thing that we have been waiting for, XRP holders and FLR network holders. This was the entire relationship that FLR network entered the market promoting to everyone. This is outside of the airdrop. This is the technical implementation that they promised to bring XRP into. So leveraging, leaning in on that promise that they made, they delivered, ladies and gentlemen. Let me show you what this is going to look like. So you have non-smart contract networks, meaning there are networks or different cryptos that cannot do a smart contract, which is an if-then type of programming. FLR created a system that allows those networks that can't do those smart contracts to be, in essence, tokenized on FLR. And then once they get on to FLR, you can use an FXRP or an FBitcoin or an FDoge within one of FLR's various DeFi protocols. And now I understand why FLR networks, their efforts have been centered towards attracting Oracle providers, automated market makers, and DeFi applications. So what this means is that now non-smart contract capable networks such as XRP, and I need to add this here because I read documentation that states you can do a smart contract, on the XRP ledger, and it requires an escrow function. I'm assuming that that is way more expensive, and FLR is providing a cheaper option. But getting back to the original point, where we're going to see XRP now are across some of the protocols here for FLR, their DeFi protocols such as Stargate, Clearpool, Scepter. Let's take a look at some of these sites here. SparkDex is another big one. Clearpool would be the biggest. No, Scepter is the biggest by volume on the FLR network, followed by Clearpool. And SparkDex comes in at number 3. And then you got some newer ones. Here's a look at Stargate. But if you go over to DeFi Llama, you'll get a snapshot of FLR Network's entire DeFi ecosystem. And here's the thing, it's small now, but give it 12 months. Because once other networks realize I can go to FLR and they can handle the smart contract functionality for me, and all I have to do is support the token itself, and let's just say go to FLR and develop a DeFi application that's still associated with my main network, but it has this extra layer of functionality to it now. Once other networks realize that FLR is the go-to for smart contracts, this list is going to get much bigger. I can guarantee that. So, another piece of information here. If you want to take a look at smart contract networks, you can go to cryptoslate.com. And you will notice, you go to CoinMarketCap, it's like 20,000, 2 million, I don't know, too many assets on the market. But look at smart contract coins specifically. Less than 100. Again, this is why the FLR Networks is so valuable. I'm not looking at any price charts when I tell you this. There isn't somebody from FLR Network sending me money every week to tell you this. I am putting these pieces together just like you are from the outside looking in. If only 92 assets on this market have the ability to do smart contracts cheaply and efficiently, then FLR's market is ginormous. You have to excuse my excitement. But guys, with that, don't think it's time to panic again. There's so much still going on in this space that will continue to go on. This story is far from over. This bull run is far from over. So, as the dust settles, as everyone else is panicking right now, what's the famous quote? Be greedy when others are fearful, and fearful when others are greedy. So, with that, guys, let me show you a few tools that we use on this channel to keep us sharp in these times. I just finished this last evening. I will be running through this in the membership section, building out an educational library, because this is the most important time to focus on that. But it's DeFi made simple, and you can access it through digitalhustlenetwork.com. The link will be in the description. And what this does is give you a rundown of decentralized finance, the history, the mechanics, how to get started with a DeFi application, everything that you need to know. The members, you guys know what's coming. We just did the episode on the blockchain basics. This does connect to that, so be expecting that in the next day or so. I really want to get it done before the holiday. Y'all already know what it is. Kids out of school. It's about to get crazy around here. But again, if you want to check that out, digitalhustlenetwork.com. It'll take you right here, direct download straight to your phone, to your device, computer, wherever you're using. Outside of that, guys, also want to download your DHN Crypto Starter Kit. These are additional resources, additional perspectives, additional information that'll help you define this crypto space if this is your first run, because it will throw you for a loop. And as you can see here, the HBAR Foundation, that's going to change. So expect a 2025 version after the holiday. I will be working on that. And then another way to support the channel, guys, check out Uphold. It's the #1 exchange that I have been using since I entered the space in October of 2019. I started on Coinbase, bought a couple Bitcoin, didn't like the experience. Went over to Uphold because they had all of the assets that we like to talk about. Stellar, Hedera, XDC, XRP, the list goes on. And they've even added RLUSD, which in January will be added to this Uphold Rewards program, where you can get 5.25% on your RLUSD holdings. There is no other place on the market with that offer. But you got to be a member of Uphold, and you got to join their rewards program. So links to that will be in the description as well as the pinned comment. And lastly, guys, the final way to support the channel, we got merch going. I figured it out. And you know what? Use code word HUSTLE at checkout. Take 25% off your entire order. That runs until January 1st, so you got to act fast. my dog tag is on the way. You guys are going to jump into a video and I'm going to be DH'd down. Right. So with that, y'all know what time it is. If that money is digital, so is the hustle.